Let me tell you about an absolutely incredible medical rescue. It's a story that has it all: a life-threatening emergency, a cutting-edge fix that went wrong, and the amazing ingenuity it took for surgeons to, well, fix the fix. Okay, so it all kicks off with an 81-year-old man who shows up in severe pain. And this CT scan right here reveals the absolutely terrifying reason why. He has a massive, high-flow leak inside his aorta. That's the main highway for blood coming from the heart. That bright white area you're seeing, that's blood escaping, building up pressure, and threatening a catastrophic rupture at any second. But here is the real kicker. This isn't some new problem that just popped up. The patient actually had a super sophisticated repair for this exact thing years ago, and now that repair is failing. This is a surgeon's nightmare, and it brings us to the core question we're going to tackle. How in the world do you fix a fix? To really get our heads around this incredible rescue, we first have to understand the original problem. So let's quickly break down what an aortic aneurysm actually is. The easiest way to think about it is this. Picture the aorta as the body's biggest, most important water main. An aneurysm is like a weak, bulging spot in the wall of that pipe, and with the constant pressure of blood pumping through, that weak spot is always at risk of bursting. It's a ticking time bomb, literally. So, how did doctors handle this ticking time bomb for our patient the first time around? They used a pretty modern, minimally invasive technique. It's a procedure called EVAR. That stands for Endovascular Aneurysm Repair. And if we stick with our plumbing analogy, it's kind of like sliding a brand new, super strong liner inside that old bulging pipe. This liner is called a stent graft. It's a fabric tube held open by a metal mesh. Blood flows through the new liner, and presto, the pressure is taken off the weak aortic wall. And for our patient, this worked. It worked great. For 4 years. He'd even received a special custom-made version, what's called a fenestrated stent graft. That just means it had tiny, custom-cut holes to let blood flow to other critical arteries. It was designed perfectly for him. But then, things started to go very wrong. You see, even the most advanced repairs aren't always a one-and-done deal. The failure that brought our patient back to the hospital has a very specific and very dangerous name. It's called a type A endoleak. And what that really means is that the seal at the very top of that liner we talked about, it's broken. High-pressure blood is now forcing its way back into that weak, bulging sac. In other words, that ticking time bomb has just been rearmed. And right here, you can see the difference so clearly. On the left, that's a healthy seal. Everything's working as it should, blood is flowing safely through the graft. But on the right, that's the problem. There's a gap, blood is leaking around the outside, and the patient is right back in the danger zone.
So, why does this happen? Well, it can be a couple of things. Sometimes the aorta itself just changes shape over time. But in our patient's case, it was something called graft migration. The stent graft itself had actually shifted and moved from where it was first placed, breaking that critical seal.
Okay, so the problem is crystal clear. The clock is ticking. What's in the surgeon's toolbox to fix this? Well, there are options, but this particular case, this was a clinical nightmare. Now, surgeons have a bunch of cool techniques with really high success rates. I mean, look at these numbers. They can add an extension cuff, do something called a chimney technique, or even try to just plug the leak. But as good as these numbers look, for this patient, they just didn't tell the whole story.
For this gentleman, none of the standard fixes were going to work. Not a chance. The original graft had moved, his anatomy was now way too complex, and an off-the-shelf device was completely out of the question. Open surgery was also way too risky. They needed to get creative.
So what did they do? Well, this is where the story gets really good. They came up with this ingenious two-part rescue mission, a staged repair. The plan was to first stabilize him and then go in for the permanent fix.
So here's the game plan. Part 1, the emergency plug. Do whatever it takes to stop the immediate danger. Then, Part 2, weeks later, come back with a definitive, custom-built solution.
And this is that emergency plug in action. In the first procedure, surgeons snaked a tiny catheter right up to the leak. Then they deployed a web of tiny metal coils and a special liquid agent. You can see it here as that dark mass. This basically created a dam, stopping the worst of the leak and, most importantly, buying the patient precious time.
All right, 8 weeks later, it was time for the main event. But they hit a huge roadblock. The old graft hadn't just slipped. Its internal metal stents were now pointing downward, completely blocking the path for the new device. So they came up with this brilliant idea. They threaded another catheter up from his leg, inflated a tiny balloon inside that old stent, and physically lifted it back into the right position, clearing the way. And these are actual live X-ray images from inside the operating room. It's amazing. On the left, you can actually see the team performing that maneuver, lifting that stubborn stent. And on the right, bingo, the path is clear, and they're ready to deploy the new custom graft. This is real-time surgical problem-solving at its finest.
And here it is, the final result. This 3D rendering shows just how elegant the solution was. They placed a new, custom-made graft perfectly inside the old one, a graft within a graft. The seal is complete, the leak is fixed, the aorta is safe. It is just an incredible piece of medical engineering. So, after a high-stakes rescue like this one, what are the big takeaways? What does this teach us about how we approach these kinds of repairs in the future?
Really, the key lesson here is all about prevention. This case just hammers home how critical it is to have lifelong follow-up after these procedures. It also makes us think, maybe for patients with tricky anatomy, we should be using more robust, custom solutions right from the start, maybe even anchoring them with tiny staples so they can't migrate. The goal is to prevent these dangerous failures from ever happening in the first place.
You know, we just walked through a stunning repair of a repair. It really makes you wonder. As our technology and our surgical techniques just keep getting better and better, what kinds of medical problems that seem impossible to solve today will the next generation of fixes make totally routine?